What strange and dark times we find ourselves in. What I mean by that is in the year 2023, we have not one, but two mainstream movies starring Count Dracula coming to theaters. One being the horror comedy Renfield, which is already out, and the other one, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, coming out sometime in August. And throughout the years, there have been so many Dracula movies. There have been so many things that feature Count Dracula. And I think it's appropriate we take a look at the very first film adaptation of Count Dracula. NOSFERATU is a silent German horror film directed by F.W. Murnau and released in 1922. That's right, 1922. And that means in the year 2023, this movie is 101 years old. Technically, this movie is an unofficial adaptation. Filmmakers just really wanted to make a Dracula movie, but Bram Stoker's widow would not give them the rights to the book. But they said to hell with it and made the movie anyway and released it. Bram Stoker's widow would actually sue them for copyright infringement and win. The judge would order F.W. Murnau and the production company to burn every copy in print of this film. However, I believe somebody had the foresight to be like, I'm gonna hide a few of these prints away and just tell them, hey, we got rid of it all. And that seems to have worked, because years later, 101 years later actually, we still have this movie. And nowadays it is considered one of the greatest achievements in cinema. It is right there ranked with some of the greatest films ever made, like Citizen Kane, The Wizard of Oz, and nestled in there is a creepy German silent film about a vampire. The film is now in the public domain, and the public domain version has all the German names changed to names from the novel. They say that they only changed the names to avoid copyright infringement, but honestly, I believe this was a German movie made for a German audience. Changing the names to a German name and the setting in Germany would, bring the audience in closer to these characters, as opposed to it's a foreign movie about foreigners, The story pretty much is a beat-for-beat retelling of Dracula, but with little extra things thrown in there, little subtle things that really give this movie its own individuality. We're going to call this guy Johnny. He's going to be our main character for this. He and his wife Nina are young and happy together, yay. He is a real estate agent, and he is going off on a long journey. And so Johnny goes to meet with his boss, who's pretty much telling him that he has to travel to Transylvania to meet this rich count and sell him a piece of property in their city. We're going to sell him this piece of property here. Little piece of advice: if you ever make a deal with somebody and they start doing that shit, don't do it. After some traveling, our boy finally makes it to his first stop in in Transylvania, a bar/inn. Come on in, good sir. Here, you have a seat here. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Bring on the food, bruh. I'm supposed to be at Dracula's house before midnight. But as soon as he mentions Dracula's name, they're all like, oh, what the fuck did you just say? What'd I say? After not much convincing, they convince Johnny to spend the night at their hotel/inn, and he finds the Book of the Vampires. Convenient little piece of literature to happen to be sitting around this place. Johnny reads a little bit and he's like, whatever, and just falls asleep. Next morning he wakes up, bright sunny day, ready to keep going. Hires another stagecoach and off he goes. After traveling for a little while though, the stagecoach suddenly stops. And they're like, we ain't going no further. I don't give a shit how much you pay me, we ain't going. Well, what am I supposed to do, walk? And they're like, yep. But after a little bit, here comes a second stagecoach to come carry you the rest of the way. And by the way, people, if your Uber driver picks you up and he looks like this, don't get in. He's gonna kill you. He takes him to the front of the castle. When he gets out of the carriage, it takes off into the wilderness or whatever. And then he walks into the main entrance where he is greeted by the Count himself. Hey, what up? They go inside, and the Count has prepared some food for Johnny, which he's eating it up as, the Count's reading over the paperwork that he's brought him, but he's being really weird. What we got over here? Yeah, a piece of bread? Oh, hell yeah, bust that shit out. Gonna carve me up some bread. The fuck you doing with them wild eyebrows, bro? Yow! What a fucking imbecile. You never cut bread? And at this point, the Count almost can't contain himself. He jumps right up and goes, "Oh, your blood, your precious blood." And understandably, Johnny's a little nerved out by now, and he's kind of like, what the fuck you doing? Trying to suck my finger, you fucking weirdo? Let me show you your room if you're tired. And he's like, yeah, I want to go to bed. And he's like, okay, sure. So he shows him up to his room, and he promptly passes out. After he wakes up, he goes outside and starts writing his wife a letter. And his letter says, I woke up with strange bites on me. I don't know what they're from, mosquitoes or spiders, I don't know. If I'm staying at your house and I wake up the next morning with bites on me, I'm leaving, and I'm not happy. Later on that evening, he's given the Count the paperwork to buy that property in Germany when he sees a picture of his wife. Ooh, purty. Yeah, whatever, dude. Don't be talking about my wife like that. Give me that back, god damn it. And a little scribble on the line. And the deed is done, brother. He reads in his little book here that the bites on his neck are from vampires and not bugs. So now he's kind of nerved out. I'm gonna take a peek outside the door, see if I can't see nothing. There he is. Oh, he looks fucking crazy. Ah! This is truly the first time you get to see Count Orlok, or Dracula, in his full-on vampire get-up. This right here, arguably, is one of the best-looking vampires in cinema history. He looks downright ghoulish. Can't even look. Hide under the sheets. It can't be real. It's a nightmare. He moves stiff and strange, but that's because he is very strange. And now, as the vampire is slowly creeping in on Jonathan, miles and miles away in her bed, his wife Nina awakes from a nightmare to a vision that Jonathan is being attacked by something. What is wrong with my husband? I have visions. People she's hanging out with her, what the fuck? Where's she going? Hold on a minute. That is so menacing. She, in her trance, calls out to her husband, which somehow the vampire can sense her call. And he decides in this moment here to postpone his feeding and save it for when he goes to his new house. He can feed on her. The next morning, very obviously, Johnny is freaked the fuck out, and he decides to do a little bit more investigating. So he runs out into the halls and all out and about around the castle. He comes into a big, deep, dark dungeon with a big old coffin in it. So he decides to take a peek. Ah! Wait, did I just see that? Gotta make sure. Oh my god, yes it is. He's sleeping in a box. I gotta get out of here. That's too weird. Alright, you know what, Jonathan? All this aside, you are still a guest in this man's house, and it is rude to judge him on how he wants to sleep. That's it, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. But he finds that every door leading to the outside of the castle is locked. He would have to climb down the wall in order to escape this thing. But as night falls, he hears some rustling and he looks out the window. NOSFERATU is very busy at work loading a carriage full of coffins before pulling out the greatest magic trick of all. I'm gonna put that up there. I'm gonna lay down in it. Yeah, what do you think of that? So he ends up tearing up a whole bunch of sheets and making a thing so he could climb down the wall and starts trying to make his way back home so he could protect his wife. At the boat docks, the ship people receive the carriage that are full of coffins and they bring them on board and they're like, well, what the hell's in these things? I don't know. Open it up. And when they pop the top, they see that it's full of dirt. They go to dump it out. Rats, come out! Ah, rats, what? Don't open any more of them. Once they set sail, all the crew members, one by one, begin to die from some mysterious plague. Only the first mate and the captain remain healthy. Coffins are full of rats. But that ain't all that's going on. Oh, shit. That's creepy. That's the face I would have after seeing that. This is one of the most iconic shots from the movie. The vampire on deck. Now it's just a race to see who can make it to the new city first. Obviously, the vampire makes it there first. This is so funny to me as he's like, am I here? Did I make it? Hell yeah, I think I made it. And he brought rats. This is also kind of funny. Who loves moving? Yeah, moving day. Gotta bring all your belongings. Yeah, moving day. Carry that thing. It's funny. This is another thing I love about this movie, is that as soon as NOSFERATU shows up into town, he brings the plague and rats. The townspeople, as soon as they figure out the plague is in town, they immediately freak out and start quarantining everything. Not even a day has gone by and already lines of people carrying dead bodies in coffins. It's almost like he's a horseman of the apocalypse, you know, the one that brings disease and death wherever he goes. I love how he knows exactly where to go. He doesn't know this place from nothing. He's never been given any directions, but he knows this is the right spot. He knows Johnny's home with his wife. When nighttime falls, Nina can sense a presence, and it's messing with her head. Oh! It's the weird new neighbor. It is well known that vampires can hypnotize you with their eyes, but he's like on another level. He's got some kind of telepathy. I'll go deal with the weird neighbor. Oh, it's messing with my head. Let him in. Hey, that actually worked. Here I come. Nina then wakes up Johnny and says, dude, you gotta go get the professor. Something's wrong. Please, go get him real fast. And he takes off. Now here comes the vampire. Here's another super iconic scene with the shadow. Here he comes. Here's another symbolic scene where you got a hand on her heart and he's got her. Johnny's like, please come back to my wife. Something's going on. She needs you. And he's like, God damn it, it's late. All right, let's go. And a sucking he does go. He feeds on her for so long that cock-a-doodle-doo. It's morning. And he's like, oh, shit. Is that really what I just heard? God, look at that face. What a monster. He is awesome. Ah, it burns. It burns. And ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at right here is the very first time a vampire is killed by sunlight. As her husband runs to her side like, are you alright? And she's like, I'm better than alright. I'm dead. Jonathan comes home, only to find his wife dead. And there you have it. That's how it ends. And that's it. That's how the movie ends. Pretty short, pretty sweet. What a masterpiece, you know? Not only is this one of the most important horror films of all time, it's considered one of the greatest movies of all time, period. This movie is over 100 years old, and it's still enjoyed by people today, proving that vampires really are immortal. If you're a horror fan and you haven't seen this movie, shame on you. It's in the public domain, it's very easy to get a hold of, and it's a pretty good time. So, there you go. Hope it was alright, but we'll see you next time.